But there have been alternative ways of doing that more recently, where you use an ultrasonic system or even a mesh system, which basically is like a plate with very small little holes that starts to vibrate quickly and to like generate that mist.
Let's go!
Hey, Joris, I've been thinking about drug delivery systems, in some of the classical ways. We have IV injection and eating pills and that sort of thing. I was wondering if you could help me think about some other ways of delivering drugs in different ways and engineering that.
Yeah, well, that's a good question, Nick. We often think about drug delivery, and we try to explore a whole variety of different ways of getting drugs into the body. And one of those ways that we can get drugs into the body is through a nebulizer.
A nebulizer.
And, people that have like asthma or COPD would be probably fairly familiar with that methodology, because really what it is you have a drug that needs to go into your body, and you basically make it into a mist, so very small liquid droplets.
Right.
And you breathe in those droplets, and they can, especially when those droplets are of a particular size and shape and size distribution, they will make it to the right part of the lungs and get absorbed. So it's a way to deliver drugs for pulmonary diseases.
Sure.
Makes sense. But then there's the other side of that, is that you can use that same technology to deliver drugs systemically as well. And we've seen a couple of examples. There have been companies that have trialed out nebulizers for insulin administration.
Yes, I did hear about that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that all those products have been equally successful, but it is a very interesting concept to think, to use a nebulizer, which is really a very quick way. So it's very fast. By using a nebulizer, you avoid the whole first pass through the gastric system.
Right, rather than eating it and having it breaking down,
Exactly.
it's more systemically.
As opposed to an oral pill. And it's needle-free, pain-free. People typically can do this at home.
Absolutely. Well, that's something that, we have a whole discipline here at Starfish, human factors engineering, and one of the I guess focuses of that is making medical devices more approachable and safer. And so having, a nebulizer as opposed to a needle, I mean, I'd feel comfortable using a nebulizer, not so much giving myself an injection. So that would, I think, make a lot of sense.
Exactly, that's exactly it. And then when you look at the field of nebulizers, what are then like innovations or technologies that drive that technology into the home? Like a nebulizer has a portion of the nebulizer is a compressor that just generates pressure to make that mist and just to generate those liquid droplets. But there have been alternative ways of doing that more recently, where you use an ultrasonic system or even a mesh system, which basically is like a plate with very small little holes that starts to vibrate quickly and to like generate that mist. And both of those newer technologies actually have allowed those nebulizers to shrink down, to become much quieter, and to so basically be much more user-friendly in the home space.
Yeah, very interesting. I guess one of the thoughts that I often have about nebulizers, thinking about shear force, and if we're delivering, very sensitive drugs like a monoclonal antibody, for example, perhaps shear wouldn't necessarily be a good, or because of the shear, nebulizing those types of products wouldn't be appropriate. So I guess it's not all drugs would fit into this category.
Exactly. I think there are certain drugs that are more applicable to the use of a nebulizer than others. But, I think it is an interesting way, and maybe something you don't think about every day, but a nebulizer can be used to administer drugs systemically and help somebody in the home space in a very user-friendly way.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for that.
Thanks.
Have a great day.